everyone, and welcome to another Origins of Expressions. Today, we'll be going over the phrases bad egg, walking on eggshells, don't put all your eggs in one basket. What do they all have in common? They're all phrases and idioms around eggs. Let's get right to work and start this video. Eggs. Those perfectly pre-wrapped powerhouses find themselves on the menu at a lot of houses. Whether it is a protein-packed breakfast or a hard-boiled afternoon snack, these shelled superfoods have been with us for a long time. So it is no surprise they have ended up in our language as phrases and expressions over time. Today, we will go over just 3 of the idioms around eggs. Let's not waste any time and crack on into our first phrase. Bad egg. Bad egg is a disappointing or unpleasant person, someone who fails to meet expectations. Ugh, what a bad egg. The term bad egg has been around since the 1800s. Back in the days before food standards were so high, it was necessary to check that you didn't crack a bad egg in amongst other ingredients. Cookbooks advised cracking eggs into a separate bowl, just to be sure. One bad egg could spoil it all, and the phrase was born. Now it refers to one bad person amongst all the other good ones, can spoil the mood. The phrase bad egg first appeared in print in the novel Captain Priest by Samuel A. Hammett in 1855. It reads, "Some birds are said to carry brickbats under their wings to sharpen their bills, and others stones and maw to whet their appetites. But the perfect bird carries a brick in his hat and a stone in his boot. In the language of this class, the perfect bird generally turns out to be a bad egg." Today, we still use the term bad egg to express someone is a corrupt or unreliable person. An example sentence is, "Most of the guests are very nice, but there have been some bad eggs." Well, it looks like they're quite upset. Let's not get scrambled into this situation. Instead, we'll move on to our next phrase. Walking on eggshells. Walking on eggshells means that you have to be careful about your words or actions around another person. To be overly careful around someone to avoid upsetting them. To be careful of your behavior to avoid offending someone. Walking on eggshells has only been around since the 1800s. Walking on eggshells means that you are trying not to cut your feet, so you must go slow and step softly. One of the first written records was talking about chickens and how they must move about without breaking the eggs in a book, The History of the Hen Fever by George Pickering Burnham in 1855. It was meant to be a funny account of the chicken Fanny Fern. It reads, "She was rather long-legged and spindle-shanked, but she moved about skippingly and briskly, as if she were treading upon thin eggshells. Her feet were very delicate and very narrow, and her body was thin and trim." The next account where it was recorded as walking on eggshells, the way we would use it today, is The Newness of Life, a series of sermons and addresses by William Hay Atkins in 1878. It reads, "Other Christians walk very timorously, always expecting to make mistakes. But there is a great difference between walking timorously and walking accurately. Some strike out wildly, never thinking where they are going. Others go along painfully as if they were walking on eggshells or glass bottles." Today, we still use walking on eggshells to express that we have to move or speak cautiously. Watch what you say. An example sentence is, "Whenever Lisa is around the house, everyone has to walk on eggshells around her in order not to get her annoyed." Well, let's not bother her as we cautiously step over to our next phrase. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't put all your eggs in one basket means don't concentrate all efforts in one area or on a single plan. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. The theory of this expression is if you put all your eggs in one basket and you trip and fall, you will break most, if not all, your eggs. So to spread your eggs out over many baskets gives you a better chance of still having eggs if something bad happens. This phrase has been used to express that theory with many things, especially when it comes to goods or money. The first time we see this in writing is in Don Quixote by Miguel de Cervantes in 1615. It reads, "To withdraw is not to run away, and to stay is no wise action when there's more reason to fear than to hope. 'Tis the part of a wise man to keep himself today for tomorrow, and not venture all his eggs in one basket." Today we still use the saying as a warning to not rely on just one thing. An example sentence is, "It would be better if you applied to several colleges instead of just one. Don't put all your eggs in a basket." Well, they have some work to do. Let's let them continue as we move on. Ooh, fun fact. Did you know that decorating Easter eggs is a very old tradition? Yep, that's right. Decorating Easter eggs has been around since the 13th century. According to some experts, eggs were formerly a forbidden food during the Lent season. So people would paint and decorate them to mark the end of the period of penance and fasting, and then eat them on Easter Sunday as a celebration. Speaking of Easter, ever wonder why the Easter Sunday date changes every year? It is because it goes by the moon cycle or the lunar calendar. So Easter falls on the first Sunday after the full moon that takes place on or after March 21st, which is said to signal the start of spring. Well, that's the information that I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed learning about the origins of our idioms and phrases. I would love to have you subscribe if you did. You don't have to walk on eggshells to do so. You can hit that subscribe button as hard as you want. It's quick and it's easy. And of course, I would really appreciate it. Oh, yeah, quick question before you go. Do you know any idioms or phrases around eggs? Maybe you know other idioms or phrases on an entirely different subject. I would love to see them. Leave them in the comments below. And if I use one of your phrases, I'll give you a shout out. Thank you again for watching and subscribing. I really appreciate your support. Until next time, bye.